Hi students, today we are going to learn a new topic and the topic is trade. So by the end of this topic, we are supposed to define trade, explain the methods of trade, and then we discuss the types of trade. So let's move and look at the definition of trade. So this term trade is defined as the exchange of goods and services for mutual benefits. Mutual benefit simply means that the buyer benefits and the seller also benefits. You will realize that when we are defining trade in history, we don't bring in the issue of profits. So long as the buyer and the seller benefits in history, that is trade. Okay? Then next, we are going to look at the methods of trade. Be careful because methods and types usually confuse students. So with the methods, we are looking at what do we use in the exchange of the goods and services. So for the methods of trade, we have the barter method of trade, and then we have the currency method of trade. So under the barter method of trade, this one is where we exchange goods and services for other goods and services. Then another thing that you are supposed to know, this is the oldest form of trade that was practiced. Then it was practiced among or between the neighboring communities. Then next, we have the currency method of trade. Now the currency method of trade is just an advancement of the barter method of trade. With the barter, we were using or exchanging goods for other goods. But with the currency, we are now bringing in money, whereby we are exchanging goods and services for money. So this one, just know it replaced the barter method of trade. And then we have a small task here. Why was barter trade replaced with the currency? You just have, when dealing with this task, you just have to give the benefits that money has over the barter, where they were exchanging goods for goods, and now we are exchanging goods with money. Okay? Then we have the types of trade. The types of trade, there are three. We have what we call the local trade, we have what we call the regional trade, and we have what we call the international trade. So with the local trade, this one is a type of trade that is carried out between two neighboring communities, communities that are neighboring each other. Then this trade is important because it will enable communities to get what they don't have or what they don't produce. Then next, we have the regional trade. Now, when we mention regional trade, we are now going outside our geographical regions. For example, we have a trade that takes place outside one's geographical region. We know very well Africa as a continent is divided into several regions. So when you find a given region is trading with another region, that is what we call in history what? Regional trade. So a good example of the regional trade that took place in Africa, we have what we call the trans-Saharan trade, whereby the northern region was carrying out trade with what we call what? The western region of Africa, and the trade was being conducted across the Sahara Desert. Okay? Then lastly, we have the international trade. And this international trade, as used in history, it refers to the trade that involves different continents. The continent of Africa trading with the continent of Europe and the continent of America. That's what we call what? The Indian Ocean trade. And then we have what we call the transatlantic trade. So these are the three types of trade that we have. Okay? And that brings us to the end of the lesson. It was just a simple lesson where we defined trade, we looked at the methods of trade, and we have finally concluded by looking at the types of trade. Thank you.